Hi everybody, this is the website boy from the websiteboy.com. And on the last video, we talked about basic arrays. In this video, we're going to be talking about an advanced arrays called associate arrays. So it's going to be called associate arrays. I'm going to write it down for you so you can see associate arrays. And these arrays are different than the basic arrays. And these are the basic arrays. As you can see, the basic arrays are referred we can refer to them by these indices, right? And these are called keys right here, and they go in order by 0, 1, 2, and 3. So let's say you have a list of phone numbers in an array and you have 1,000 phone numbers. The bad thing about it is that how are we going to refer, let's say, by, we know that spot 244 has a phone number that we need, but that's going to be hard to remember and it's not very useful. All right, so associative array take that burden away from that. It makes everything better because instead of naming these keys, these indexes, zeros and ones and two and numbers, we can use names for them. So let's say, for example, I want to print out this name here. All I have to do is put a name on this label here on this key, on this index, and then I can say I want the phone number for Edwin, and then I get the value of it. It's gonna be easier to remember. So an associate array is like putting labels on indexes. Let me show you exactly how it works and how we define an associate array. So this is the regular array right here. This is the same file right here. And we know that the invisible indexes are 0, 1, and 2, right? So associate arrays are, let me just clean this up. I'm gonna leave this here for a reference, and I'm gonna make a second array down here. All right, and I'm gonna call this phones, right? And it's gonna be defined the same. We're gonna use the array and the parentheses. The only difference is that when we refer to them, we're gonna use a label. So I am going to use a label like a name, and I'm gonna use those little equal sign and the arrow or greater than sign symbol to point out that this is gonna be a value in here. So I'm gonna say 1-800 the website boy. Actually, I can't write strings in there. It has to be numbers. If I want strings, I have to put quotation marks in there. So I will have to go in and write put a double quote. I'm sorry, and then put the numbers in the words in there. But I'm just gonna put a number here, so make it easier. I'm not gonna confuse you. 1-800-345-5678, right? And then we divide this. This is gonna be the same as index 0, but it's gonna be named Edwin now. It's gonna be have a name. The index, we are naming it Edwin. All right, so that's the same as 0, but we are putting a name on it. This is same as just having the index like this, 0. All right, it's the same thing, or just having it like this. We're just using a name for it, and we're using a text, a string, right? So for the next index, which is going to be 1 in the basic array, and the difference is, you can see we not using numbers. We don't have to use numbers. We can, but we're not using numbers. We're using labels, and we don't have to go by specific order. So I can reference this array by any name I want. And this one I have to go by number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, order is very important. When order is not important and names are, labels are, then use an associate arrays. When you have something that needs to be in order in numbers, then use a basic array. So let's say, for example, I have another name here, another, and these are called key now, and this is referred by key value pair. So this is the key and this is the value. So this would be a key value pair. This is what programmers call it, right? So let's say I have another key here, and the value for this would be this phone number and this right there, and then we separate it with a comma. That's how we separate each value. And the same thing with the basic arrays. It's almost the same thing. We just naming the index. Let's just call this Williams right there, and then we use the equal sign and the greater than symbol all together, and we put another value in here. Watch, what am I doing? There we go. So we have three different values in here. We don't need a comma for the last item, right? Now we save it. We're not gonna have anything because we are not echoing anything right now. But if we echo this, let's echo something out of it. Let me just echo this one so you can have an idea how this looks too. Echo, and let's just echo this one. And we had a pre-tag, but I'm not gonna do that on this one. So I'm just gonna use a print r function to print out the whole array, so that way you see the difference. And then we use the variable name, close it, and we refresh. And I have a, because I have this and I have not closed that, I have not defined this variable here. It's phones. Anyways, let me just put a br tag in there, and yes, I can use an echo by itself with a br tag. And let me just take this off real quick, refresh. And this is the first basic array that we saw in the last video. All right, and now I'm going to echo this one so you can see. So if I want to echo or print out the first value on this one here, that's very simple. I use a square bracket again, but I use the double quotes in there because I want to refer to this string, which is the key, the index name or label. Save it and refresh, and it says it's undefined variable because we don't have the same name. Make sure you do that. Save it, refresh, and as you can see, I'm printing out the value of that key of this index right here by referring to it by the label or the name. All right, so that's how we can use that. Now if I want to print out the whole thing, of course I can use the print r function. All right, so let me just take that off and print r phones. And if I refresh, you can see that the only difference between a basic array and an associative array is that we actually use labels for the index. This is index 0. Actually, it's not index 0 anymore. It's index ed1. So this could be index 244. We're just using labels for it. Now we can refer to this by using a0 anymore. So if I want to refer, let's say I want to print out, for example, index 0 on this array, it does not exist. So if I go like this, it's gonna give me an error because it does not exist. All right, but I can still use the same format as the basic array. So for example, if I want to use the zeros like a basic array, I could. I just take this off, I refer to it like this because it's the same thing. We're just using labels for an associative array. So I can use that. Come here and refresh. Actually right here I have this is messing up. All right, and as you can see here, I'm using the same thing as the first one. You see that I'm using a key or index and I named it 0. So all we do with an associative array is that we name this. We grab the value right here. We use this equal sign and greater than symbol to actually create a key for it. So I can go ahead and change it and make it the same again. Right, refresh, and as you can see, I renamed that index ed1. That, and it's not 0 anymore, it's ed1. This is name 1 and this is name 2. All right, so that's the difference between a basic array and an associative array. You can use labels to refer to the values inside your array. It's very cool because that way you can have a list of 3,000 names and refer to them by their first name or last name of the person. All right, and that's very cool when we are using functions for databases. Anyways, thank you so much for watching my tutorials. If you were able to understand it easy and you like the video, like it, favorite it, put it on whatever social network you are, and I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.